Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to Tea and Testimony, where we try to do what's good for others, not just what's good for ourselves. And that comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 24, which is basically Tea and Testimony's motto. We do what we do through spilling tea on real testimonies and stories, and, just talking about the reality of overcoming real life situations. So for me today, I wanted to take a moment and kind of just reflect and catch y'all up on what Tea and Testimony really even is. Now that I've switched over to YouTube, I want to give a reintroduction, if you will, to all the new people who are visiting on this platform. For everybody who's been listening to me, thank you for your continued support. But I am just kind of reiterating, since I'm on a different platform, carrying forth with my podcast now. So, just to get y'all into what I'm even here for, why I'm even here, where we've been started from. So, I guess today's podcast would be more like a Q&A, if you will. So, Tea and Testimony first aired January 19th of 2020. I introduced my baby to you guys. This Tea and Testimony, it is a Christian-based health and wellness podcast. All things self-betterment. And we discuss how to allow God to navigate you through life. Sometimes we go through things and we try everything but God. And honestly, I've come to learn that it's better to just do things the way you're supposed to do them the first time than to have to keep revisiting same situations and scenarios. So, yeah, that's when we got started. How did Tea and Testimony come about? That's a jam-packed answer, but I'll break it down. So, my mom used to have these events, and we were always within the church or the community. And for one of these events that she was doing, she asked me to name it for her. She said that it was going to be a panel of women, gathering, eating, discussing certain issues. And basically, specifically, certain issues within the Black community. And so when I came up with the name Tea and Testimony, I just later felt myself consistently thinking about um, my self betterment journey. And I just remember feeling alone, not really encouraged. And I just felt like this is not right. Like this can't be right. I just felt like I needed to do something about this part of it, like the lack of communication that I was seeing about certain issues that I was going through by myself, you know. So, once I got a grip, once I got a grip and I felt strong enough mentally and spiritually, um, I created Tea and Testimony. And the goal, honestly, is just to have the conversations that nobody wants to have. To be really transparent, so someone who needs it can gain whatever they need to get to the best version of themselves. That's really the epitome of Tea and Testimony. Self betterment, all things self betterment. I feel like before we can fix community wide issues, we got to break it down a little further than that and go to each individual. Once we as individuals are better, then collectively, as a result, our communities will be better. So, you got to start at the root before you can fix anything. Why is Tea and Testimony so important? For me, this is very important because as I stated, I've gone through a lot of things by myself, seemingly. God was always there with me, but when you're not tapped into God, you can't see Him when you're not looking for Him. Um, to an extent, for the sake of conversation, I'm not gonna elaborate on that. But when you're not really looking for God, He's not. You don't see it as easily as when you're looking for God. And like I said, I was just going through a lot of stuff. I come from a really big family on both sides, and having so many family members, but just feeling displaced. On my mom's side, I'm the oldest out of 6. So I was like the second mom in the home. And on my dad's side, I'm the third child, but first girl. And so that's a unique position to be within. And I just remember throughout childhood, my young, early adulthood, just any and everything that I was going through, I just felt so misunderstood, so alone, so isolated. But there was always something in me that never wanted to give up, something in me that just did not want to quit. And even being depressed to the point where suicide became a contemplation, there was something that would not let me commit to those agendas for myself. And so once I tapped in and started cultivating a real relationship with God, I really started to see things shift for me. My mentality, my mannerisms, my habits, the people that I was around, everything really just started to change. And no, it don't always feel good. It's not a feel good process. And that's what I wanted to talk about, because sometimes you get on social media and you get to see these little 2 to 3 minute, 5 minute reels and stories. And, they have the potential to give you so much hope. But when nobody elaborates on the back end of some of these amazing journeys, then you could really walk into some stuff blind and not really ready for what's about to happen or how things are about to go. Because just because you're gravitating towards something that'll be better for you, something that's good for you, doesn't mean the process is going to be pretty. Sometimes in order to get that beautiful bloom, those beautiful flowers, it's got to look ugly for a while. And that's really why I wanted Tea and Testimony. I wanted us to get real about the ugly parts of life. It's beautiful to go on journeys. It's beautiful to better yourself. But it's not always a beautiful process. And I just need more people who are willing to be real about their processes, their journeys, their testimonies, so we can collectively help each other, build each other up, and get to the next level. I had an uncle, God rest his soul, my uncle Emil. He was the only person in our family who went to Harvard. And I remember always hanging on to everything he said like a hidden gem. And something that he always said to me that to this day sticks is, hang around people who are better than you, who are doing more than you. You always want to be around somebody that you can learn something from. And when I look at the way society is set up, social media and, this, that, and the third, it's set up for you to hang around what makes you most comfortable. Society as a whole will tell you to gravitate towards what's most comfortable. And comfortability will get you caught up. I could tell you that firsthand. I've tried it. Some people, to each their own. Because no shade to people who feel like they don't need to do anything else. They're comfortable. It is what it is. Who am I to judge? But I just feel like at the end of the day, how can you really say you live life if you didn't see it from the best version of yourself? It's like going to the mountaintop. Like you get to where you're going and it's beautiful, but you want to see that top tier view. That's how I feel about my life. I love my life. It's a beautiful life, but I want to see what it looks like from the mountaintops. I want to see what it looks like when I give 100% to myself, when I give 100% to God, when I really pour into my talents, my gifts, my anointing. I really want to see what that looks like. And as I'm getting there, I want to motivate other people to get there as well, because listen, life is ghetto for all of us, okay? And we all just doing the best we can. So we might as well work together instead of working against one another, you know? Where do I want to see Tea and Testimony go? I want to see us go to great heights, honestly. This is just the beginning, because this is an extension of my spiritual relationship. Integrity is of utmost importance to me. So I would love to see this grow into something that really affects and touches people, a platform that allows people to come and really be vulnerable, share what they've been through, share how they really feel about certain things, and really just shed light on some sort of pathway to navigating through the difficulties that we face. Um, Only God knows where this is going to end up. I'm just open to whatever that is going to be. And my job as of right now is just to be consistent and obedient. I mean, if this only helps one person or if it helps 100,000 people, as long as I'm being consistent and obedient and led by my spirit to continue to do this, this is what I'm going to do. We are in the 4th season now at this point, and I would say that there's definitely been transformation. I'm now to the point where I'm doing speaking engagements, which is really exciting for me. I used to publicly speak a lot when I was like in high school and stuff, which is crazy because I had no fear. I had no fear. But now as an adult, I just find myself being nervous about public speaking, but I still get up there and I do it, especially when I know it's for a greater cause. I did a conference with my best friend back in February, and I love her. Shout out to Topi Speaks Creations, Charlene's Closet. Y'all go shop with her. She is an amazing entrepreneur, very, very beautiful, spirit-filled woman. And she had a conference titled Sweetly Loving Me. And so she's been advocating for self-love and the whole self-love journey. And so I spoke at that conference in February. That was so amazing that I got invited to another conference that I did in April, right after I had got back from Houston. And so we're getting ready to do round 2 of the Sweetly Loving Me conference, and I'm excited about that. The best love is self-love. I know that sounds so cliche, so corny, but it's really true. Until you start actually pouring into yourself, if you know, you know. I just feel like self-love sets the standard and the tone for anybody else who wants to come into your life and love you. They have an example right there given to them from the person themselves. How you take care of you sets the tone for how other people will treat you and take care of you. And it's important. It's important. A lot of us, especially women, we love putting ourselves on the back burner. We love taking care of everybody else but self. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. You chalk it up to who else is going to do it, or you chalk it up to I'm the only one who does that. It is what it is, but it's mandatory to make time for yourself. It's 2023. We cutting out all the excuses of not to take care of ourselves, not to focus on ourselves, because ultimately, think about it like this. the more you pour out without pouring into yourself, eventually you're going to run dry, you're going to run thin, you're going to run empty. Those are your options. And when you prioritize pouring into yourself first, and then you allow God to pour into you, then you reach a state of overflow. And everything you got to take care of automatically gets taken care of, because guess what? You overflowing anyway. Okay? So, yeah, I want to see this get to the point where I look into my community and I don't see nothing but overflow. It's possible. There's more than enough. I feel like there's more than enough resources and money for everybody to be comfortable, everybody to eat. It's just, unfortunate at this point in time, there's too many ill intentions, hidden agendas, all types of stuff in the mix. So we gotta navigate to what we gotta get, in light of all the chaos that's around us and that's going on. So at some point, Tea and Testimony does plan on doing events. I did do events a couple of years ago. We had through a baby shower. I had also did like a, health in the park type event. And honestly, I was biting off more than I could chew. I'm going to be very real about that. In the future, we will pick back up with events, but on some for real, I am in the middle of relocating right now, working nonstop, hustling, recording. Like, it's a lot of stuff going on in my day-to-day life. So events is the furthest thing on my mind at this current time. But once we get settled into our new city, I plan on getting it together and doing everything in decency and order. But yes, events are coming back in the near future. And, just something where we could get together, have these discussions, but on a bigger platform with people that are willing to interact and, get active with it. I love being around people who aren't afraid of a good conversation, who don't shy away from difficult topics. I love that, because iron sharpens iron, baby. How we gonna ever be on point if we not sharpening one another? Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, in the future, we plan on picking up our events again. But for now, you guys are gonna have me every Sunday here on YouTube, and then you're gonna have a recap and a little bit of encouragement on Mondays from the Anchor.fm podcast, which automatically streams to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast platforms. So that's what we're going to be doing for now. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real with y'all. This is going to be going on until after I'm settled in the new city. Like I said, between being a single parent, me and my sister trying to plan this move, and do all kinds of other stuff, take care of real life responsibilities and things of that nature. It's a lot going on. And listen, one thing at a time. Because I get easily overwhelmed when I take on too much. I know this about myself, so I don't do it. I don't do it. It's always backfired when I've done it in the past. So at this point, we've learned our lesson. And we just relax and we move forward in that way. But I do thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, we'll get back on talking about something beneficial. I just wanted to really get on here today and let y'all know what this even is and why y'all should stay tuned in. We all got a story to tell. We all got something to do. We all can learn from one another, and that's really just all it is. Let's grow together. Let's learn together. Let's prosper together. And most importantly, let's be healed together. I want to see all of us winning, especially my Black and brown folks. We've been oppressed, depressed, walked over, all types of stuff. So no shade to no other ethnicity, but Black and brown folks, I want to see y'all win more than ever, because there's a resiliency that we have that I just feel like it gets overlooked because we in survival mode, you know. So outside of being our best selves, I want to see my community flourish. So yeah, I love y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in, and come check me out next Sunday at 9 a.m.